Hey everyone, Mr. Overon here with Mr. Overon's Tarot Reading Services, and I need to talk to y'all about some bullshit that I see consistently, and I've made videos about this in the past, but I just had some folks try to come for me in the comment fucking section of a witchcraft for beginners thing about cord cutting rituals. Stop doing cord cutting rituals. They don't fucking work the way you think they do. Cord cutting spells are not spells. They are actually divination tools. The very first thing that you all do that is absolutely fucking wrong is this right here. This bullshit. I'm just using this black ribbon as a demonstration purpose. Don't put your candles in the same fucking tin. It doesn't matter if you have herbs or whatever else. You do not put your candles in the same fucking thing. The candles melt, mix with the herbs, and combine the energies of the herb and the people that you are trying to do that stupid ritual on. You can have all of the intention that you want when creating this spell, okay? It does not matter. What does matter is all the things that are connected to it. When you have your candles in the same container, in the same space, regardless if they are separated by salt, if they are separated by water, whatever, the energies commingle. I saw somebody who was charging to do this bullshit spell and was saying, "Oh, look at the way that the wick is glowing. There's a demon looking right at you," and it's a naturally occurring phenomenon. Anyone who's ever made candles, which made candles, had a whole candle making business there for the longest times, know that the way your candle burns depends on the type of wick you use. It also depends on the type of wax you use. And it also depends on, like, if it's rubbed down with herbs, if it's got oils in it, if it's got any kind of whatever. So many times I will see people lighting these candles up and like, oh, look at all the black smoke coming off of the negative candle or whatever, blah, blah. Yeah, I'm using 2 white candles for this demonstration because at the end of the day, if you don't have a black candle or any other candle color besides white, white works because white's universal. There's something that they don't teach you in most modern day books. But, there are a great deal of things that happen depending on the type of the wax. You could buy chime candles that are made from the same exact company, but one will burn down faster than the other because maybe there's not enough of the stuff in the paraffin or whatever that they're using. Okay? So I've seen people like, oh, look at how quickly the black candle burned down because that's all the negativity coming off of that guy or that person or whatever. And it's like, not exactly. Like, to the untrained person, and I'm not claiming to be a guru in any particular form or whatever, but, razzle dazzle them with bullshit and use pretty words, and boom, you have people believing whatever. Doesn't make it the placebo effect, doesn't make it cause an effect, doesn't make it actually that it's happening. Are you working magic? Are you connecting with the gods, the goddesses, the spirits, the universal forces, what the fuck ever? That's all subject. Okay, that's all subject to your interpretation and the client's, like, whatever. So utilizing it as a divination tool, like it's supposed to be, tells you a lot about what's going on. So in some of the TikTok witchery forums and like Facebook groups and all this other bullshit, you see that the both candles will burn down at the same exact moment and catch the cord on fire. And that's supposed to mean this and that's supposed to mean that. Again, it's open for interpretation because it's a divination process. I've seen candles touching one another because they burned. I've seen the wax touch one another because that's what happens. It pulls and it's drawn to one another, whatever else. Like, calling this a spell or like, oh yeah, this is breaking curses, this is breaking familiar ties, this is breaking negative, this is doing whatever the fuck else. No. If breaking ties with people, if breaking ties with bad habits, generational curses, so on and so forth, was that easy, none of us would be dragging around the chains of our past. None of us would ever have any negative interactions with people. And I understand the idea behind it because, it sounds pretty. And, my hot yoga teacher told me that I am a guru shaman and I bought my herbs and my crystals and my candles fair trade from Whole Foods and like the local new age shop and whatever else. And got a couple of books from Barnes and Noble and Llewellyn says XYZ or whatever else, no. No. If you look at it from a divination aspect, you get a lot of information. Okay, so the rope breaks on the client's candle and it burns back toward the negative person's candle or whatever they're trying to get away from. That just means that the energy is still there and that person's being drawn to that. If it breaks on both candles and it drops, that just means that it is like both parties still need one another for whatever reason. The video that I watched that sparked me making this video, the cord fell back onto the black candle and caused the black candle to go up in flames. Well, jute twine works like a wick. So, of course, if it's on fire and it touches wax, what do you think it's going to do? It's going to act like a fucking candle, and it's going to catch on fire, and it's going to make this big, pretty, like, plume of smoke and fire and all that other stuff. But if you look at it from a divination standpoint and not like trying to make it, there's demons, there's lower level energies, there's this, there's that, which there very well could be. Like lower level energies, demons, highly doubt it because, unless you really call on them, they don't bother most witches. But that's a whole nother video. Just look at what you're fucking doing. Look at the symbolism. It doesn't matter the beautiful, pretty words that you wrote and all the intention that you put behind it for it to work this way. Your intention is all good and well. And yeah, intention does play a small part in your practices, but the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So, universe, we'll just call it the universal energies. By doing so, I am covering gods, goddesses, spirits, demons, what the fuck ever you want to put into that. The universal energies do not give a shit about your intention. They work on your energy. If you are doing baneful magic, they are going to utilize baneful energy to help that spell along. If you are using magic to try to protect yourself, those energies are going to align to protect you. And even if you are doing protective spell work and what have you, does not mean that the universal energies are going to actually protect you. Does not mean that just because you burn some sage or some palo santo or stick yourself in a circle of salt or whatever else, that that is going to protect you from the universal energies. The universal energies do not abide by our rules. We are only granted access to their power. And a fuck around and find out within the witchy world is when the universe places a binding on you that is undoable. Like it takes a shit ton of energy and all kinds of like pleases and promises and everything else to get the universe to unbind you. We are conduits of that power. We are conduits of the energies that are around us. And so when we misuse them and go unchecked, the universe puts us in check. So be mindful of what you're doing, how you're doing it, and don't put yourself in a fucking echo chamber where everyone around you is saying what you want to hear. You need those people that are there telling you, no, listen, dumbass, do it this way or don't do it this way. If you are in a forum and 99% of the people are telling you, yes, this is the way you do it, and you have that other percentile that is saying, no, you probably should try it this way, listen to that other percentile. That is part of learning witchcraft, learning any part of the occult. Just because you are practicing Wicca or white witchcraft or whatever else, you still have to abide by the laws and the rules of witchcraft, of the universal forces, of the universal energies. And one of the biggest fallacies out there is that, well, I'm a Wicca, or I practice Wiccan. You know, I'm mixing my words up right now because I'm frustrated, but I'm a practicing Wiccan, and there's no devil. There's no supreme evil. There's none of this. My friend, there might not be a supreme evil like the Christian devil, but the gods, goddesses, and universal forces that you call upon are worse than any Christian mythology, demon, devil that you could think of. Look at the dark aspects of the goddess Hecate, for example. Look at the dark aspect of the god Pan. Even though he is a forest god and all things that are beautiful in green, nature is also a deadly force. So falling into those ruts of, oh, well, I do this because, and I don't have to like listen to whatever, or I don't have to follow whatever. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. And if you really want to learn more about your craft, be it Wicca, witchcraft, brujeria, santeria, voodoo, whatever, learn from the people who are telling you what the rest are not telling you. And, you know, if you want to follow what the rest of the sheep are doing, then do so, but do so to your own detriment. Please For the love of every god ever known to man, and those that we have forgotten the pronunciation of their names, stop doing these fucking cord cutting spells. They are not the magic that you think that they are. And they are not working the way that you think that they are. Any practitioner worth their weight in salt is going to tell you that. So, my dear witches, I'm sorry for all the profane usage of language, but please, please do yourself a favor and learn from other sources besides echo chambers. Just because you say the pretty words does not mean that that is the outcome that is going to happen. Just because you feel a certain way, just because you have the intention for it to come out that way, does not mean that it's going to turn out that way. I'm a gray I'm a gray practitioner. If you have to assign color to magic, there's white, there's green, there's gray, there's black, there's, whatever color. Gray practitioners are those who practice the quote unquote white magics and black magics. And in my 30 plus years of studying occultism and witchcraft and reading tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of books and manuscripts and like learning about witchcraft before the fucking internet was invented. I don't look it, but I'm 45 years old and I was born before Google. I was born before AOL. I was born before the internet came to the public sector. So I spent my formative years in the library, in the deep archive sections, reading everything on witchcraft and spirituality and whatever I could get my hands on and taking endless notes. I have 13 books of shadows, each one of them for a different subject. I have one that is just dedicated to the idea of the Necronomicon, even though the Necronomicon was created by H.P. Wells, I think it was, and is kind of bullshit. I have an entire grimoire dedicated to the Necronomicon and the teachings of Simon and all of those other things. I have 3 grimoires that are dedicated to Solomon, that are dedicated to Satanism, devil worship, voodoo, the whole 9 yards. And my main book is that one right there. I got my Funko Pop collection behind it, but that's my main book right there. That book has a compendium of my knowledge. But, anyone who claims to be the master of any one particular thing is actually the master of none. So take that into consideration. Always be a student, always listen, always take in information from other sources, and do your own research. The device that you are watching this video on has access to the entirety of the world's knowledge when it comes to spirituality, witchcraft, occultism, whatever. Get out of the social media bubble and practice and learn your witchcraft from sources that are not on Facebook, that are not on TikTok or whatever else. Be blessed, and until the next video, I will talk to you later. Bye, witches.